just being able to stop running was the best feeling. But I felt, you get so exhausted. I was quite confused. I sort of was completely drained. So I didn't, I just needed sort of 10, 15, 20 minutes before I could even think about, processing it all. And then once I'd sort of come to a little bit, had something to eat, had something to drink, warmed up a bit because it was chucking it down with rain the whole day. Then it started to sink in that I'd done it and I'd managed to get through it all. I'd raised all the money, and then it started feeling good.
Yeah, after the first time I did London, I think I said I won't ever do that again because I found it really very hard. It took a very long time and I was just not prepared. The second time, I remember being so ecstatic and euphoric and so happy that I definitely said I'm doing this again. So very different.
You have to be able to do the training. You have to be able to fit the training in. You have to be able to do it justice, really. You have to be able to do as much as, when you look at it on the internet and it tells you how many hours it's going to take, you have to be able to do all that. And if you can't, then you're not going to be able to do it.
My first thing would be to say, make sure you have a training plan because it's really hard to just go from running. It depends if you're a beginner or advanced, but if you're a beginner and you just start up, it's really hard to just go from not running to then doing 26 miles. So a training plan will just build you up slowly but surely, starting at the basic to being able to get to the end of the marathon line. So that's key. Also, maybe find a running group because it's nice to run with people because you're going to be running for a lot of time. And just take it slow and try and find things and nice places to run in so it's enjoyable and not a hard slog. I've run it previously. The first time I did it was when I was at uni and it was almost a dare. So I did it as a dare. I wasn't very prepared for it at all, hadn't trained well. But then about 12 years later, I really got into running and then I did it much more professionally and trained properly. I'm actually a personal trainer, so it kind of is part of the job and I do training with people. So I did it again, I think the first time back was 2019, just because I love running and it's amazing.
I basically realised throughout my training and then through a few years of working as well that the local hospice, which is a service that provides support for patients who are near the end of life or have life changing conditions, palliative care conditions, that service is almost entirely charitable. So it's almost entirely run with charitable donations, and it's a service that we rely on for professionally. So if we want help with medications or something in helping to care for dying patients, we can use it for that. They also have the actual hospice themselves, so they can go, patients can go in and have their symptoms looked after. And so myself and a colleague both decided that it would be good to raise some money, and said to Sue Ryder, Manalands Hospice, that we would happily apply to run it with their charity places at the London Marathon, which we did, and we raised I think just about £7,000.
When I'm running, a lot goes through my head. Sometimes it depends. If I'm listening to music, sometimes the songs will remind me of certain things. I've actually on my playlist got different songs that are relevant to different people. That's kind of like a nice thing to do while I run. When I'm training, often I'm thinking about what I need to do when I get home. If I'm having a really hard time when I'm running, I often try and think how lucky I am to be running because people can't run. So a moment of gratitude for the running as well. On marathon day, it's a bit different because the crowds are often incredible, and I'm actually full of gratitude on marathon day because you've reached the end of your training plan and it's just a day of fun, and also you see so many people cheering you on, strangers making it all worthwhile. And you also see around you loads of people that are raising money for really amazing charities, and it kind of keeps you going, and yeah, you're full of gratitude on that day.
So I think the main thing that I learned was, I learned something about how far you can push yourself. I think that was probably the main thing, because towards the end of the run, you're completely lacking in all of your energy, you feel dehydrated, you feel like you're going to faint, you feel like you probably shouldn't carry on, can't carry on, but you can, and there's always another level of how much you can dig in and do more.
One thing I've learned by doing the marathon is that the training is very hard and very time consuming, and it takes up a lot of your life, but it's always worth it come race day, and actually the race day is definitely the funnest part, even though you're the most nervous on that day, so you kind of have to ride the wave of the training and know it's going to be tough.
No, no. I wouldn't do it again. It's a long way. A marathon's a really long way, and I'm glad I've done it, and I'm glad I raised lots of money for a charity. I did another one a few weeks later while I was still in that frame of mind and still had the fitness, but I wouldn't push myself to do it all again.
It would be very hard for me to say how many times I'd do it again, but I think I would try. I mean, I have a goal of trying to do some kind of marathon, maybe at London or another one each year, because it's good to keep in the habit. I'm actually doing New York in November, so I'm doing that one later, and yeah, might try a few other ones because I've done London a few times, but I do like the marathon vibe.
Other marathons I would possibly consider in the future. The problem with marathons is they're a long way, and I think I can dedicate enough time to running half marathons, maybe a little bit longer, but adding that extra 15 kilometers or so, 20 kilometers takes a lot of extra time, and it takes it out of your body. Your joints start hurting, you get more injuries as you do more training. So I have done 2 now. I don't think I'd do any more, but I still will keep running.